You are watching the Grizzly Digital Network. We would like to thank our corporate sponsors who have made this broadcast possible and you, the fans, for tuning in. It's time for some GGC women's soccer. Let's go live to the voice of the Grizzlies, Matt Mahoney.
No, it's not flashing.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Lawrenceville, Georgia, on the campus of Georgia Gwinnett College. We are live from the Grizzly Soccer Complex for tonight's A.I.I. semifinal showdown between the top-seeded Georgia Gwinnett Grizzlies and the fourth-seeded Viterbo V-Hawks. Hello again, everybody. I'm Matt Mahoney. Glad to have everybody aboard here. An absolutely glorious night here in Lawrenceville, Georgia, as GGC rolls into this contest with an impressive 13-3-1 record, currently on a 14-match unbeaten streak. Meanwhile, Viterbo, the 4th seed, a 5-win, 8-loss, and 3-tie record, and have lost their last regular season showdown. For now, let's go to Dale Long for the introduction of tonight's starting lineups.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's meet the starters for tonight's match. First up, for the Viterbo University V-Hawks, the tournament number 4 seed, and 5-8-3 on the season. In goal, 0-0, Abby Breepak. Number 1, Nicole D'Ambrose. Number 2, Macy Kalsher. Number 3, Rachel Rudd. Number 4, Taylor Summers. Number 8, Megan Weiss. Number 9, Tessa Iska. Number 11, Christian Mathowitz. Number 13, Laura Boyan. Number 16, Erica Schultz. And number 18, Isabella Fern. The V-Hawks are coached by Scott Pinstill. Now let's meet the starters for the Georgia Gwinnett College Grizzlies, the tournament's number 1 seed, and stand 13-3-1 on the year. In goal, number 32, Sophie Hoare. Number 6, Dominique Fletcher. Number 8, Amy Moreland. Number 9, Ana Gonzalez. Number 10, Lauren Moss. Number 12, Bristol Countess. Number 13, Maddie Keenan. Number 14, Nicole Rodriguez. Number 15, Stina Anderson. Number 18, Macarena Azuris. And number 24, Amanda Yager. The Grizzlies are coached by Dr. Mike Giuliano. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and remove your caps for the playing of our national anthem.
Big thanks to Dale Long, our public address announcer here at the Grizzly Soccer Complex. There's a quick tail of the tape. Before mentioned the 13-3-1 record for GGC, 5-8-3 for VU, as Georgia Gwinnett averaging more than 3 goals per contest, allowing less than a goal per contest, and currently on an 11-game winning streak. That's going to be a 13-match unbeaten streak for the Grizzlies. A lot of familiarity between the teams not named Georgia Gwinnett, between Viterbo, Jamestown, and Bellevue. As those all 3 participants come from the North Star Athletic Conference, Georgia Gwinnett has invited, so to speak, those 3 teams into the A.I.I. this season. So there is no history, there's no common opponents, and there's not a whole lot on paper that matches up these two teams as we Georgia Gwinnett will be moving right to left here in this first half. In the mostly white uniforms, green pants, green letters and numbers, going to go right to left. Meanwhile, Viterbo is going to be in the all black, going left to right. A lot of hardware was handed out last night at the A.I.I banquet. We'll get to a lot of that throughout the course of this broadcast. But for now, doesn't matter if you're 13-3-1, 5-8-3, the 1 seed or the 4 seed. Your entire season comes down to this. Only one team will advance out of this A.I.I championship and punch their ticket to the national tournament. A win here would set up the championship game tomorrow at 7 p.m. as we get this 2017 A.I.I Women's Soccer Championship kicked off here in Lawrenceville. The center referee hands things over to Lauren Moss and Amy Moreland. Grizzly stand inside the center circle. Referee checks with his assistants. And the opportunity for 2-1-1 to happen is now. We're underway with soccer here in Gwinnett County. Bristol Countess sends one to the far side, intended for Maddie Keenan. Pass will be incomplete, and the Grizzlies will have 2nd and 10. That's literally a play they set up and call from the bench there. Amy Moreland will start possession, boot things toward Ana Gonzalez. Gonzalez put a target on her back last night. She was the A.I.I Player of the Year, elected on by the other coaches in the conference, and so now no longer a sly Spaniard. She is a marked woman as the best player in the conference. Starting lineup for Mike Giuliano in his first season on the Grizzly sideline. It'll be in the back row in front of Sophie Hoare. It'll be Keenan, Anderson, Arazuris, and Yarger. In the midfield, Countess, Moss, and Rodriguez. Up top for Georgia Gwinnett, Gonzalez, Moreland, and Fletcher. Sophie Hoare gets her first touch of the ball game as it goes back out wide to Maddie Keenan. Turbo trying to get north there. Arazuris wants no part of that. The ball goes out to Nicole Rodriguez. Fletcher chases down to the far side. It'll be a throw-in for Rebecca Rude, sophomore out of Lorano, Minnesota. Toss it in. Keenan's there. Finds Moss. Ideally, if you're Georgia Gwinnett on the women's side, you want to take a page of the Steve DeCoos playbook, win this contest in 90 minutes, and then have the other semifinal matchup go into penalty kicks. Get the much-needed rest as the 1 seed. If you're Viterbo, you just want to hang around here. You want to put the pressure on Georgia Gwinnett in front of their hometown fans. And we've packed the bleachers out for the second time today for an 11 a.m. showdown. Steve DeCoo and company took on and took down Jamestown in front of a packed house, standing room only. And out here, they've all found their way back to the Grizzly Soccer Complex for another packed house again. We've got lawn chairs and blankets draped all over on top of the hill. Literally the bleachers, standing room only. A lot of student athletes have come back down to support their fellow Grizzlies. Arazuris with a nice tackle on the wing. Deflection comes back towards Sophie Hoare, and she'll pick it up. All bouncing around here. Countess in the midfield. In front of mom and dad who have made the trip from St. Louis, Missouri. Long ball near side, Amanda Yarger's goal side. Again, fans, for the Grizzly fans, got to make a slight adjustment here. Want to get on the conversation, use that hashtag A.I.I Soccer. We've got our regulars tuned in here. Tom Grayson, Mark Berry, Rachel, Felicity, Corey, and Polly. Be sure to use that hashtag A.I.I Soccer to get on the conversation for our Viterbo fans. Don't be shy either. Tim Countess and company in the bleachers. They're not watching, but they're still tweeting. I like it. Sophie Hoare will tee things up. GGC's Champion of Character Award winner, sophomore to Napier, New Zealand. Or with the right foot. Floats one out toward Countess, heads it straight up in the air. We start with the shout-outs. I'm also being told this is a very European-friendly start time with this 5 o'clock local time here in Atlanta. And from my understanding, we've got my good friend Maya from Canada tuned in here, a 2018 commit for GGC Women's Soccer. Also got recruits from Great Britain, Germany, Switzerland, and I said Germany once already. Another German shout out too as well. So hopefully this later start time is much more convenient for our European followers. So big thanks to all the potential recruits, the signees, the commits. We'll turn you into Grizzlies in no time here. Guys, I hope you enjoyed yourself here on the Grizzly Digital Network. Normally you guys go late into the night, midnight, 1 o'clock, sometimes even 2 o'clock. Hopefully that's not the case here tonight. Glad to have everybody aboard. Absolute packed house here at the Grizzly Soccer Complex. As your season comes down to this, win, you get a chance to play for a championship tomorrow. Losing, your season comes to a screeching halt. For this red-hot Mike Giuliano squad, that's not what you want to see here happen today. Right foot delivered by Schultz. Property 18. Keenan's in the neighborhood. That ball wide of the post there, and a nice rebound by Macy Kalsher, junior out of Middleton, Wisconsin. Very Midwest flavor for this Viterbo V-Hawks team is 100% of their roster comes from either Minnesota or Wisconsin. Meanwhile, GGC is a little bit different in their regards, as they have multiple athletes representing multiple countries, spanning the globe from as close as Beaufort, Georgia, and as far away as Sweden, England, Australia, Spain, Sweden, Chile, and New Zealand. Sophie Hoare, the New Zealand native, will come out and secure that. Stina Anderson will play that up the path. Stands up her attacker. Countess comes over and helps out. Wins the ball in the midfield. Second touch a little bit too far, and the V-Hawks come roaring back. Ball played back toward the midfield. Nicole Rodriguez heads it out of danger. Viterbo not afraid to shoot from about anywhere in the ballpark. That's on the scouting report. They've got to be cognitive for the midfielders, even from 30-plus yards out. They will pull the trigger. Arazuris gets it out of the penalty area. Moss teams up with Moreland. Now cleared things out of danger. Got to keep an eye out for number 10 center back, or excuse me, I believe that's number 10. Two center backs for Viterbo. Pack quite the punch. Stand corrected here. Rachel Rudd is going to be in the midfield. More that defensive role. That's Rudd right there with the right foot. She's at center back. And her counterpart is Isabella Fern. Both stand in there about 5'10", 5'11". If you told me they're 6 foot tall, I wouldn't argue with either one of them. Fletcher. Far side, finds Rodriguez. An A.I.I honorable mention All-American from a year ago finds herself, unfortunately, on the second team this year. Gonzalez, a little flick out to Yarger. Yarger working downhill. Stops, circles back. Back out to Gonzalez, player of the year. Working with Moss, give and go. Gonzalez into the box, all the way to the end line. Looking for a green shirt. Back out to Moreland. She can't hit. And now Viterbo clears things out of danger. Keenan sizes things up. Left foot keeps possession. Rodriguez, top of the 18. Looking for Moreland. Can't connect. Grizzlies will sandwich the ball and get it back. Moreland on the turf to Gonzalez. Gonzalez finding some opening space, but the scouting report is out on number 9. Black shirts corral her pretty quickly. Countess fires one from deep. It's deflected away by D'Ambrose. Still not out of danger. Rodriguez pins it in the corner. Fletcher pins it in the corner, and the Grizzlies get a nice round of applause from the hometown crowd there for their effort and their energy early in the 10th minute. So again, they're chiming in from all over. Tim Countess in the house cheering on GGC Women's Soccer using that hashtag A.I.I Soccer. Also, Cody Butler tuned in here to the Grizzly Digital Network. Haven't heard from Cody in a while. Cody, hope you're doing well. It's Cody cheering on the Grizzlies. There's Cody. Let's go Grizzlies. I agree, buddy. And fans, you can use the hashtag A.I.I Soccer. Get in on the conversation. Ball bouncing around. Anderson, aggressive here. Had it taken away by Kauscher. She can pull the trigger. Didn't get a good boot on it there as Keenan will get it out of the mouth of the goal. Chased down by Mathewitz. Challenged by Moss. Clears it up. Headed straight up in the air and out of bounds by Schultz. And the Grizzlies will get out of the back. Yarger quickly in, down the left side. Beautiful day here from Lawrenceville. Temperature got as high as 62. Here's Dominique Fletcher in behind the defense. Fletcher with a stop and a deflection and a swallow by the goalkeeper, and Abby Breitbach was crowned the A.I.I Newcomer of the Year last night as a freshman. She has stood tall at Oregon, Wisconsin for the V-Hawks this season, a second-team all-conference selection. There's actually 3 individuals that took home the Newcomer of the Year award. Only if 2 of them take it home, it's the co-New Player of the Year award, right? Well, if it's 3 of them, is that the tri-New Player of the Year? How does that work? Or is there 3 co-New Players of the Year? Or just 3 Newcomers of the Year? I don't know how it works, but 2 of them are on this field. Breitbach there, the goalkeeper for Viterbo. The other one's Maddie Keenan for GGC. Took home that nod as well. Long ball played up top. Fletcher's in the neighborhood. Wins it with her head. Gets to her feet. Tries to chase it down, but that newcomer and Breitbach able to keep it alive. Actually panics. Plays it off the sideline. It'll be a throw in for GGC. Ball in the box. Moreland had the idea. Rodriguez tried to pin it in. Unable to do so. D'Ambrose will clear things out of danger. Back and forth early for the first 10 minutes or so. Anderson creates a costly turnover. Moss trying to help out, and she does. Gets possession, hits it long. Gonzalez onside. Chases this one down. Whole stands are on their feet. Gonzalez with a cross, looking for Moreland. Inside the 6, can't connect. Right now, those 2 center backs for Viterbo standing tall. Yarger to toss it in. Trying to mention there, weather got as high as 62 degrees here today, but kickoff for this 5 o'clock p.m. showdown is every bit into the low to mid 50s, and by this one's end, and definitely by the night game tonight, temperature will be in the 40s. Still beautiful conditions here as the sun is completely set, and we are under the lights here in Lawrenceville. Header by Yarger. Gonzalez looking to shake and bake, trying to find a left foot. She does, and Viterbo will clear things out near side. Moss pops that one straight up, goes off the end line, and actually deflected off the black shirt, so it'll be a corner kick for GGC. Grizzlies will get numbers forward as Arizurus and Anderson comes out of the back. Near side, Gonzalez and Rodriguez come to the corner. Gonzalez to the right. Gonzalez to the left. Rodriguez with the right. Gonzalez will take it. Sends it back out to the penalty area. Fletcher's there. Gets a head on it, but it goes over the crossbar. Yarger to toss things in for the Grizzlies. 15 minutes old. No score. Grizzlies trying to change that here. Now we get a V-Hawk that's shaken up back at midfield. And the referee's trying to figure out the sub situation. As it looks indeed as if Viterbo will potentially make a sub. At least somebody's warming up on that far sideline. But a significant limp coming from what appears to be Macy Kalsher. All right, so Kalsher will stay on for the time being. Clock stops for the moment at 29:31. Yarger tosses things in into Gonzalez. Gonzalez trying to take on two defenders. Back out to Yarger. There's a cross. Ball to the near post is going to be scooped up by Breitbach. Breitbach with the right foot. Anderson. Working down this near side. Arizurus is there. Turns it away. Header. Won by the V-Hawks. Near side. Cross by Schultz. Headed out of danger, or headed in the wrong direction by Summers, and will go off the end line for a GGC goal kick. Georgia Gwinnett unbeaten in its last 14 matches, averaging more than 4 goals a contest during that winning streak. They gave up less than half a goal during that 14-game unbeaten streak, and they have won 11 contests in a row leading into the postseason. Had a chance to talk to Mike Giuliano yesterday before practice, and he said his goal all year long, no matter how good, how bad, or how indifferent the Grizzlies were going to be at the start of preseason, he wanted to make sure they were playing their best ball the second weekend in November. There's a ball into Fletcher. Fletcher a header, and it's over the bar. And I said, did you ever imagine we would start playing our best ball in the middle of September and carry it through November? He said no. And so, yes, it is true. The Grizzlies are playing their best ball this season right now, but this winning streak they are on, no one anticipated it before season start. You got to remember, the Grizzlies, it took 3 matches this year to even score their first goal of the year. As GGC lost a couple of heartbreakers, 1-0 to SCAD, 2-0 to Martin Methodist, and finally got a goal against Emory in a 2-1 loss. Since then, nothing but W's and T's. Yeah, W's and T's, W's and draws. T's, ties, yeah, you get the point. Have not lost since September 1st for GGC Women's Soccer. Viterbo, right foot by Mathewitz. Back line clears things out. Seahawks coming right back downhill. Estock to Mathewitz. Wide and across for Schultz. Back door, no one home but Maddie Keenan, who's goal side. It'll be another goal kick for Sophie Hoare. And temperature's starting to cool off as this game gets a little bit older. As the parkas, toboggans, beanies, gloves starting to make their way out here on a Friday night. Schultz pressured from behind by Gonzalez. Viterbo, again, pulls the trigger on the right carpet, on the top of the carpet, and that one will be deflected out of bounds on a goal kick for GGC. Georgia Gwinnett hasn't seen GGC hasn't seen real pressure since probably maybe October 4th against Point. No disrespect to Cardinal Stritch, Robert Morris, Tennessee Wesleyan, Talladega, Union, or Albany State, but those matches were not close and lopsided victories for Mike Giuliano. Cardinal Stritch 5-1, Robert Morris 4-0, Tennessee Wesleyan 4-1, Talladega 15-0, Union 3-0, and Albany State 6-1. So Viterbo is bringing the most intensity and the most pressure the Grizzlies have seen in over a month. And much expected out of this A.I.I tournament. Grizzlies clear things out of danger. That's not going to be the method of operation for GGC, with those big, long aerial balls delivered to the V-Hawks center backs. They will, Rudd and Fern will eat those up, no issues. Grizzlies got to possess things on the ground, use their speed and their ability to finish in the final third to their advantage. Ball thrown down the near sideline. Mathewitz stood up by Yarger. Back out Schultz. High ball to the back post. Hoare stays on her line and will be out of bounds for another GGC goal kick.
Save the camera, not myself.
Water bottle on the outside for me. Put that water bottle on the outside. Thank you.
Moss plays a long ball. In route for Fletcher. Fletcher chases down and wins it. Sticks to the right foot, trying to go around Boyum. Boyum takes it away from Fletcher, and the Grizzlies will get their second corner kick of this first half. Grizzlies send the tag team unit out there. Nicole Rodriguez and Ana Gonzalez. They're going to elect to go short. Gonzalez on the dribble. Clears it back out to Fletcher. Fletcher tries to settle. Now battling. Loose ball out to Moreland. Moreland will deny it. Rodriguez comes and helps out. Right at the elbow. Turn, left foot, near post. Trickles toward the goalkeeper and right back, and she'll have it. Right back will pick up her 57th save this season. She's got 2 shutouts. Ball out of bounds, headed toward the bleachers. Nice catch by a Grizzly fan there. Speaking of catches, Sophie Hoare's got a pause on a couple of balls, and our regulars on Twitter, Wendy all the way from Australia, or should I say New Zealand, rooting on the Grizzlies using that hashtag A.I.I Soccer. Love to hear from all of our friends. I know there's a fan we won't hear from, and that's Janet Moreland, longtime listener of the Grizzly Digital Network, big fan. Has made the 14-hour flight from Australia to Lawrenceville and is sitting in the stands cheering on her daughter Amy. So wanted to report back to Luke, who I'm sure is watching. Luke, I miss you, buddy. As well as their dad, who is probably tuned in here. Another souvenir into the bleachers. Wanted to report that Janet has made it. Safe and sound. Yarger into Gonzalez. She'll turn and run. Stops, now cuts back to her left. Shake and bake. Gonzalez stops once, cuts back one. Cross, shallow into Moreland. Moreland drops it back to Moss. Moss with the right foot, couldn't get around it, squared up. The ball trickled off to the far sideline. Throw in for Viterbo. GGC 4-2-1 this season here at home at the Grizzly Soccer Complex. 37-13-2 all time. That's a 73 win percentage for the green and gray at home on the turf. Of the 4 participating teams in this A.I.I tournament, Georgia Gwinnett, Viterbo, Bellevue, and Jamestown, GGC has never played any of the other participating teams. GGC does have a common opponent with this Viterbo team. As we try to compare these teams on paper coming into this contest, GGC won at Robert Morris on October 11th by a score of 4-0. Meanwhile, Viterbo tied Robert Morris at home 0-0 on September 13th. The transitive property doesn't always work in soccer, meaning Team A beat Team B, Team B beat Team C, so therefore Team A should beat Team C. You didn't think you'd have to do math tonight, but that's what we're dealing with. Transitive property doesn't always work in soccer. But I would have to say Grizzlies being the 1 seed, V-Hawks being the 4, giving that nugget and a common opponent with Robert Morris, Grizzlies playing at home, they'd have to be a slight favorite, I would think.
That's good, that's good. That's good right here.
Throwing for the V-Hawks. Yarger takes it away. Working down this left side. Dribbles toward the middle of the field here, looking for a Grizzly to play to. Plays Rodriguez way out in front of her and couldn't chase it down. Tended target, Kauscher. He can score. Wearing 2 in black. Nice challenge by Rodriguez, forced the turnover. Moss looking to play long, trying to get in behind the defense, trying to split 2 defenders. Gonzalez chases it down. Now we get a foul back where Moss hit it from. And no advantage given to GGC, but GGC will take advantage of the whistle. This match, 25 minutes old. GGC has outshot VU by a score of 7-3. 2 of them have found themselves on frame. So give Breitbach credit for 2 saves. Fouls 1-0 for GGC. No cards, no goals. Corner kicks 2-0 in favor of the Grizzlies. Head out of danger by Rudd. Keenan chases it down. Too long of a first touch, and knocking it out of danger is Boyum. Throwing for the Grizzlies here. They've knocked on the door a couple of times. Possession has been very even. Fletcher trying to turn a corner, cannot. Gets a throw in. Finds Moss. Moss just inside the 18. Couldn't find the left foot. Moreland's there. Moreland at the front doing left foot save. Rebound comes back out to Moss. Knocks it down and they cleared out of danger. That's the first real bullet that the Grizzlies have fired at Breitbach, and she's come away with a big save to keep this game at 0-0. So Breitbach will come out and secure that one. John Carley says, let's go V-Hawks, using the hashtag A.I.I soccer. As John cheering on his V-Hawks on Twitter. Fans, you can get on the conversation too. Hashtag A.I.I soccer. Moss chips one up, looking for Gonzalez. All side and then business. Traps it down with the left foot, trying to pull the trigger to the right. Here comes the support defensively. Moss, left foot fly, and it's high. Right idea for Georgia Gwinnett. Gonzalez used her speed. Moss comes in to support, tucks in right behind her nicely. Moss just got underneath it a little bit. Moss likes the long distance rifle there. That was definitely well within her range. Right back, right foot. Fletcher, far side, looking across, had it denied. by Boyum, and the Grizzlies will get their third corner kick of the half. Gonzalez sizing things up with the left foot. She'll use it. In swinger near post. Anderson can't get there. It's deflected down by the V-Hawks, and a consecutive corner kick coming for GGC. Viterbo's doing the right thing. They got two defenders out that way, and even Lauren Moss drags a third at the elbow. Lots of space in that penalty box. Gonzalez, another ball. This one's a little bit better. Fletcher streaking, just missed. Fletcher was the intended target there, made a great adjustment en route, but just past the head of the senior. Breitbach and the V-Hawks will recover. I think if this goes scripted to plan for GGC, you win and survive and play the championship game tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Yarger, an overlapping run. Way to keep it in play. Yarger goes crashing down to the turf. Last touch by Viterbo. Maybe we get a foul that goes against Yarger. And free kick coming for the V-Hawks. First 30 minutes. Ball rattling around midfield. Ball popped up right side. Countess. Chipped out far side. Pressure from behind issued by Gonzalez. Viterbo is going to retreat all the way back to the goalkeeper and right back. Right foot. V-Hawk goes crashing down to the turf, and Moss will get things out of midfield. A fortunate bounce goes Fletcher's way. She'll win it. Tried to pull the trigger. She can't do it. No whistle, no foul. Are you kidding me? There was no ball. Fletcher was in behind the defense. Referee's going to say she got the ball, and I don't know about that. Fletcher's momentum trying to shoot that ball was cut off. A lot of contact there. Fans want a penalty kick. They're not going to get it. Grizzlies will get a corner kick out of it. Here we are again, the fifth one of this first half. Substitution, out goes Fletcher. In comes Caitlin Berry. Gonzalez sizing things up. Left foot again. Berry in the neighborhood. So is Arizura. She gets a right foot on it, but it's wide. Lots of space for Georgia Gwinnett to operate on those corner kicks, that's for sure. Another substitution. This one's coming for the V-Hawks. As checking in up top will be Maria Ehrlich, sophomore out of Port Washington, Wisconsin.
No.
A whole host of V-Hawks chiming in here on the Grizzly Digital Network. John, Brett, and Jake all cheering on the Lady V-Hawks, using that hashtag A.I.I Soccer. Yarger gets it in quickly to Moss. Moss taps out of bounds, a quick throw in for Gonzalez. Gonzalez working back toward the middle, trying to find that left. Schultz knows it, shields her back toward the middle, but again, another throw-in coming for GGC. Throw-in for Countess. Looking to heave it in. Headed down and cleared up. Yarger with a header. Into Moss. She'll turn. Pulls the trigger with the right foot. Hits it high, but it'll end up about head high for the goalkeeper and Breitbach. Right back with the right foot. Hits this one well beyond midfield. As Keenan will try to control it. Berry challenges. Keenan keeps it in play. Keeps the momentum going downhill down that right rail. Challenges and knocks out of bounds. This will allow the second sub to get into the game for the V-Hawk. Gonzalez working downhill with the ball. Dumps it off. Moreland battles, loses. But Viterbo comes away with it. Rodriguez back out to Countess. Moss. And back toward the penalty spot. No one home as Moreland was hanging out right at the 18. Countess looking to toss it in. Into Gonzalez. Gonzalez able to get a foot on it. Buried at the back door. Keenan comes crashing in. Keenan with a left foot. It's on frame and a save by Breitbach. Matty Keenan, one of the 3 A.I.I newcomers of the year. Puts a solid strike on that one. The Grizzlies will get a half a dozen corner kicks in this first half. We still got 10 minutes remaining. Gonzalez again. Left foot. Looking for Berry. Can't connect. Headed straight up in the air and out of bounds. And another opportunity. Grizzlies might want to mix it up a little bit. You've hit the same ball to the same spot every time. You either got to get Anderson or Arizuris to alter their route just a little bit or deliver in a different spot. That's what Gonzalez has done. Arizuris with a chest trap. Ball still loose in the 6th. Arizuris with a shot. Rebound by Anderson. Loose ball to scrum right in the mouth. And now we get a flag up and maybe a foul. Offsides against GGC on the second shot by, I believe, what was Arizuris. Anderson was offside on the rebound. A scrum occurred, and so luckily the linesman will save the day for the V-Hawks. Referee's going to stop the clock at about the 9:12 mark here to check on the injured V-Hawk. So, slow to get up, but staying in the game. Right back with the right foot. He'll hop on the turf once. Arizuris comes away with it. Picks her head up. Plays far. Looking for Berry. Berry gets it on the second touch. Streaking downhill. Plays it too strong for Moreland. Ended up in the lap of Breitbach. Gonzalez near side. On this left rail. Looking to cross. Header for Moreland. It's toward the target, but actually that's Berry with the header to the intended target. Grizzlies knocking on the door here in the first half, but got nothing to show for it. Breitbach. Strong right foot. That ball's carrying every bit of 60 yards in the air. Rodriguez, far side, finds Berry. Berry rebounds after a tough first touch. Ball on the carpet. Countess. Up the way to Gonzalez. Off to Countess. Looking for a through ball to Yarger, just beyond her reach. There'll be a goal kick coming for Viterbo. Got to think of your GGC, plenty of things to talk about. Possessing the ball pretty well, creating some good chances. You've tested Breitbach, but I think she's passed the test early. You're going to need something creative, something different to get it past 0-0 and yellow. Meanwhile, defensively, Viterbo came out and gave the Grizzlies a handful the first 12 minutes. But since then, they have calmed down and been organized defensively. We haven't said Sophie Hoare's name in more than a half hour. Gonzalez, excellent hustle. Chases down that ball and applies pressure. Arazuris denies that attack. Moreland trying to get on the ground. Nice cut. And she does, moving forward. Moreland working downhill. Ozzie with mom in the stand dumps it off to Morris. Moss switched the field. Barry with a header into the box. Gonzalez is in the neighborhood, but it's too far, and Breitbach is ready. You got to tip your cap. Breitbach has made every right decision so far in this first half, and she's made some quality saves. Very seldom do you get both those characteristics out of a goalkeeper, and when you do, she reels in the hardware as the A.I.I newcomer of the year, along with Maddie Keenan, who touches that ball there. Moreland chases down the ball, applies pressure, throw in coming for the V-Hawks. About 38th minute here in the first half. GGC tested for the first time in more than a month. We get a push that goes against Countess, and the easy whistle going in favor of the V-Hawks. First time the Grizzlies have really been tested in more than a month. Grizzlies are battle tested, to say the very least, as their last loss of the season came against number 14 Martin Methodist. A draw against number 8 Kaiser, a 3-2 win versus number 23 Cumberland, and a receiving votes Cardinal Stritz team went down to the Grizzlies too as well. Ball into the box here. Sophie Hoare's going to come out. She'll climb the ladder and just have enough hops to get that ball before it comes down on top of the head of Kauscher. Hoare with the right foot. Ball headed down and back. Gonzalez going to pressure. Two black shirts team up. A little bit of panic there. It'll be a throw in for the Grizzlies on the near sideline. Substitution for Mike Giuliano. Amy Moreland's going to get a breather. And looks like it'll be number 23, Melissa Hankin, the junior, to right here, or should I say right up the road in Buford, Georgia. She'll flank out near to the left with Anna Gonzalez in the middle. Hankin gets some early action with throw-in coming into to her. Hankin battling with Schultz. Mathowitz trying to team things up with Schultz. Hankin being a nuisance. Throw-in coming for the V-Hawks. Huge heave by Schultz, but Yarger's there. Ball. Knocked down. And Countess clears things out of danger. Countess switching the field. Might have been taken down from behind. Made a note to the linesman, who seemed to be nodding his head to say, I agree. He made a note of it. Gonzalez switching the field. Near side, Hankin. Hankin at the 18 settles. That's a high ball to the back door. Barry battling, but it's headed out of danger by Reisman. Far sideline, chased down by Keenan. 41st minute. Keenan and Rodriguez team up. Keenan will take charge. Ball into the box, targeted for Gonzalez, but it'll end up in the lap of Breitbach. Breitbach. Ball intended for Yarger. Might have got a piece of her. She comes tumbling down to the ground. It did get 24, and so the throw-in coming for Viterbo. Schultz assessing her options. Looking to toss things in. Ball played toward the box, and one hopper toward Sophie Hoare will secure it nicely. Sophie Hoare, from part-time starter her freshman year, full-time starter her sophomore year, has now amounted 20 wins for her career, which is the second most in the career wins rankings for goalkeepers, behind Mo Gutierrez, who has 24. So, chance from a mathematical perspective, there's a chance Sophie Hoare could become GGC's all-time leading goalkeeper by the end of this season. I said mathematically, there's a chance. Countess working down this left side. Wants to clear things up. Looking for Gonzalez, but goal side with plenty of space is Fern. She'll let that one drift off the end line. It'll be a goal kick coming for VU. Georgia Gwinnett, the 20th ranked team in the latest A.I.I coaches poll. Viterbo yet to receive votes on the season. And right now, through the first 43 minutes, you wouldn't know who was ranked and who wasn't. The Hawks have gone toe-to-toe, and that's the beauty of this A.I.I tournament. Win in advance, survive in advance, whatever you want to call it. But a loss here will end your season. No at-large bid available for either of these teams, so the 4 teams that have qualified for this A.I. championship, only the winner of tomorrow night's championship game at 7 p.m. will punch their automatic ticket to the A.I.I National Tournament. Viterbo has never been to that A.I.I National Tournament. GGC has been once previously in 2015. Barry wins the header. Gonzalez faces the goal with 1 minute remaining. Trying to target Hankin, had it taken away. Countess gets it back. Moss off to Yarger. Here's the right idea for the Grizzlies, working this left side. Yarger quickly into the box. Gonzalez sandwiched between those 2 center backs. They can't seem to find her since Gonzalez has moved from the left side to the center. Anderson pressing forward. 45 seconds remaining. Going down toward Barry. And that ball will trickle off the end line. And I believe Viterbo will take their time and take a 0-0 result into the halftime locker room. It's cooled off significantly now as the sun has set, thanks to daylight savings time, by 6 p.m. in the Atlanta metro area. We're completely engulfed under the lights here in semifinal matchup number 1 on the A.I. women's soccer side. Temperatures will cool off into the 40s during this contest, and at 8 p.m. kickoff for the finale will kick off in the 40s.
10,
Much cooler conditions.
9,
Countdown
8,
is on.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So that'll do it here for the first 45 minutes. We've got no score in this contest. GGC statistically has the upper hand here, but for the stat that counts the most on the scoreboard, Viterbo really has to like their situation and their scenario, as Georgia Gwinnett 0, Viterbo 0 here in this first half of semifinal matchup number 1. Fans, we're going to step aside here for more than a moment. Check back in about 12 minutes or so, and we'll have a first half recap with highlights as well as stats. Before we get there, we'd like to thank our corporate sponsors who have helped make this game and this broadcast possible. Auto Bell Car Wash, Chick-fil-A on Pike Street, Club Corp of Hamilton Mill, and Traditions of Brazelton Golf Club. Fast Signs of Norcross and Johns Creek. Gunner Automotive, Gwinnett Medical Center, Gwinnett Sports Commission. Hamilton Inn on Sugarloaf Parkway, Hayes Family Automotive Dealership. Holiday Inn Express of Lawrenceville, Homewood Suites on Sugarloaf Parkway, and Infinity of Gwinnett. Fans, check back in again in about 12 minutes, and we'll have a first half recap and highlights for you in semifinal matchup number 1. 0-0 is your score at halftime between Georgia Gwinnett and Viterbo. This is the Grizzly Digital Network.
Gwinnett Medical Center, Gwinnett Sports Commission, Hampton Inn, Sugarloaf Parkway. Fans, make some noise for the Willie's T-shirt cannon. Who wants a free T-shirt? Hayes Family Dealerships, Holiday Inn Express in Lawrenceville, Homewood Suites, I-85, Sugarloaf Parkway, Infinity of Gwinnett, Jets Pizza on Sugarloaf, Jim and Nick's Community Barbecue, Mall of Georgia Dentistry, Northwestern Mutual Financial Advisor Reed Golden, Old Town Tavern and Grill, Lawrenceville, Penn Station, Lawrenceville, Pepsi Beverages Company, Pita Corner in Lawrenceville, Saucy's Cafe and Bakery in Sewanee, Sports Medicine South, Seward of Gwinnett, and Willie's Mexicana Grill here in Lawrenceville. A reminder, restroom facilities are located both here at the field and on the far sideline and up the walking path in the ticket building. Be sure to pick up refreshments at the concession stand. Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the field for a special presentation. Zenith FC Soccer Club is a local adult soccer club which has enjoyed a strong relationship with Georgia Gwinnett College since 2014. Headed by Mr. James Joint, who is here with us this evening, the team utilizes the Grizzly Soccer Complex as its home training field throughout the year. Wonderful tenants of the facility, Zenith FC has also hosted visiting teams and skills showcases with its nearly 100 members. The team's support of Georgia Gwinnett College and Grizzly Athletics help make events like the 2017 A.I.I. Soccer Championships a reality. We welcome Mr. Choi and representatives of the soccer club, Zenith FC, here this evening, and we thank them very much for their support. The A.I.I. would like to recognize all of our volunteers working this championship this weekend. Thank you for your commitment and making this championship a great success. Georgia Gwinnett College would also like to honor its volunteers for the entire 2017 season, and especially during this championship week. Thank you for your commitment.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to the Grizzly Digital Network as we take a look. A 0-0 score here at halftime. We'll show you how we got here as GGC had a couple of opportunities. Dominic Fletcher had one taken right off her right foot, and a great save by Albany Breitbach. Grizzlies have recovered pretty well here. Moreland, another opportunity right on the doorstep, had it taken away. Breitbach has stood tall on her head more than once. This is Lauren Moss, gets a nice little window, puts it a little bit too high. Grizzlies outshot the V-Hawks in this first half. However, Georgia Gwinnett, a scrum here right at the net, saw Stina Anderson offsides, and so that attack was negated. And GGC outshot Viterbo as there's a one save by Sophie Hoare, and your first half stats look a little bit like this. GGC outshot the V-Hawks 12-5 in this first half. 6 of them found their way on goal, and not a whole lot of activity outside of that. So you are 100% caught up and up to speed with this semifinal matchup number 1 here in the A.I.I tournament. And we'd like to thank our corporate sponsors who have helped make today's game and this broadcast possible. Jets Pizza on Sugarloaf, Jim and Nick's, Northwestern Mutual Financial, Reed Golden, Old Town Tavern and Grill in Lawrenceville, Penn Station East Coast Subs, Pepsi Company, Peter Corner in Lawrenceville, Slosky's Deli and Cafe, Sosby Auto Supply, Sports Medicine South, Subaru of Gwinnett, and Willie's Mexicana Grill in Lawrenceville. So 45 minutes stands between you and potentially extending your season. If you're Georgia Gwinnett in the 1 seed, the pressure is on you here in this second half, as Georgia Gwinnett will work left to right here in this second half. And the all-whites, Viterbo, and the all-blacks going right to left. A couple of Grizzlies have slid on the long sleeves underneath their jerseys too as well, including the Aussie Amy Moreland. I don't blame her for that at all. His temperatures really sank from warm-ups to now the start of this second half. It's probably dropped a good 12 to 15 degrees. So we're now in the 40s here to start this second half. Sophie Hoare wearing the blue uniform in goal to your left. In front of her, Yarger, Arazuris, Anderson, and Keenan. And this ball in toward the penalty area. Can they pull the trigger with the right foot? They do, and Sophie Hoare collects it in and keeps it in play. Nice job by the Grizzly goalkeeper. Keep that alive. In the midfield for Mike Giuliano, the regulars Rodriguez, Moss, and Countess. Up top, Gonzalez, Moreland, and Fletcher. Moss in the midfield. Arazuris chases that down, keeps it in play. Viterbo just good enough on defense to keep this game at 0-0. They've lacked some offensive production. They came out with a lot of intensity the first 12-15 minutes the first half. Let's see if they do that here again in the second. And this Viterbo team is very battle-tested. If you look past their 5-8-3 record, what you'll find is a team that has made cross-country trips to Arizona, an overnight trip to Iowa, and now here to Georgia for the A.I.I tournament. So mileage is not an issue for this V-Hawk team. Arizona settles on the turf. Chips things up around midfield. Keenan up the path. Moreland settles on top of the table. Now turns, faces north. Keenan working in the attack, trying to cross, can't do so. Deflection comes back to Fletcher. Fletcher will shield it off and get another corner kick for GGC. 8th corner kick of the day for Georgia Gwinnett. Gonzalez, left foot, toward Fletcher, gets a head on it toward the goal, but it'll short hop right back. And a freshman out of Oregon, Wisconsin will answer the test again here in the second half. Strong right foot. That one airmailed to the other side of the field. Darger with a header. Countess with a challenge. Moss with a win, but it turns it over. That's Stock. Puts it up. Anderson puts it away. Trying to get regrouped. Threw ball to no one as Sophie Hoare will scoop that one up. As this game continues to mount, the pressure will be on Georgia Gwinnett without a doubt. That 14-game unmatched beaten streak, the 11-game winning streak, the number 1 seed and the 20th ranking in the A.I.I will be for naught if you come up short here. And again, neither one of these teams have the at-large bid in their back pocket. Your season comes down to this A.I.I championship. A loss there in the semifinals, and your season comes to a close. A win here today, you'll punch your ticket to the championship game tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Loose ball comes out to Gonzalez. Finds Moss. Moss, tough first touch. Turns it over. Racing down that far side is Mathewitz, but she'll run out of room and a throw in for Yarger. Countess with time and space. Turns, finds Gonzalez. Gonzalez had some success down the left side of that attack in the first half. However, Gonzalez was contained for the most part to just one total shot. Again, Gonzalez does not have to put the ball in the back of the net in order to be effective. Gonzalez very much the team leader in goals and has the single season school record now at 14 goals. That ball is over the bar from DeAmbrose. As Gonzalez does have now the school record for the single season school record now for goals in a season with 14. But a very balanced attack for GGC. Caitlin Berry with 8 goals. Amy Moreland with 6. Lauren Moss with 6. Bristol Countess with 5. Dominique Fletcher with 5 as well. Fletcher is number 2 on the GGC all-time scoring list. So if Gonzalez can create some attention and draw the defense in, it should open up for some of her teammates. Right now, Viterbo is the one on the attack. First 5 minutes of this second half. Fletcher gets a boot in the right direction. Trying to settle on the turf is Weiss. Pressured and turn it over. Countess wins that ball. Yet DeAmbrose battles back and gets it back. Far side by Mathewitz. Down in the middle for a Stock. That ball goes off the far sideline and the throw in coming for GGC. All far side for the V-Hawks. Keeping possession is Summers. Stood up by Arazuris. Retreated back to the midfield. And they try to chip one over top. Jennifer Kalsher. Keenan wins it. Trying to turn things around. Down on the near side. Anderson will keep it in play. Challenge just a little bit. And gets Arazuris to help out. Countess had that one taken away, but Countess regroups and gets that possession back. And gives it right back in the midfield. Rodriguez finds Gonzalez down that far side. Gets in behind the defense. Time and space. Here comes the center back who takes it away from Gonzalez. What a play there by Isabella Fern. First team all-conference selection, a senior to Farmington, Minnesota. Stands tall there for that V-Hawk defense. There's a quality shot and a rebound. Cleaned up nicely by Dominique Fletcher. A shot from long distance for the Grizzlies. Cleaned up nicely by the senior. Out of McDonough, Georgia. Nets the first goal of the game for GGC in about the 55th minute. As Georgia Gwinnett, scoreless in the first half, comes out here in the second, and a nice job by Fletcher, netting her 6th goal of the season, crashes the net, and cleans up the rebound and puts it home. Again, Bright Box rises to the occasion with that initial save, but couldn't hold on to it, and Fletcher did a great job of following up. Grizzlies lead 1-0. So that may wake up Georgia Gwinnett just a little bit here. And so a much-needed goal for the Grizzlies. There's a little bit of air and a sigh of relief for the green and gray. So the ball going to trickle off the end line here, and Mark Berry looked into his crystal ball, rubbed it just the right way, asked the right question. Mark, you ask and you shall receive. Mark tweeting in all the way from the United Kingdom. Called it at halftime. Need to put away some of these chances, and that's exactly what Georgia Gwinnett did here at the 55th minute. Dominique Fletcher off a rebound, puts it in nicely, and the Grizzlies lead 1-0. The fortune teller, Mark Berry. Might have been the cookies and the biscuit. What is it? The tea and the biscuit? Digestive biscuits. Might have been the tea and the biscuits that helped out Mark to that knowledge. Mark, cheers to you, my man, as I've got a hot brew right here in front of me, too, as well. See if you can hear this. And that's hot. Feels good on a cool night here in Lawrenceville. Arizurus with the header. Mark, I went with the black tea tonight. What'd you go with? Tweet us in. Use the hashtag A.I.I Soccer. So again, a little sigh of relief here for Georgia Gwinnett with that goal in this second half. Puts the Grizzlies up 1-0. No time to be casual and complacent. Still got a lot of soccer left to be played, but that goal may loosen up the Grizzlies just a little bit, and they could play even better. Grizzlies starting to send some long balls as the V-Hawks tend to install that high line. A lot of space for Fletcher and Gonzalez and Moreland to run onto. Moreland ball swing and a miss as she's gets me ready and warmed up for baseball season. Then another swing and a miss and a foul tip by Tessa Estock. What's going on here? A baseball game has broke out here at the Grizzly Soccer Complex. Moreland working the attack. Ball goes out of bounds. Mike Giuliano can't handle the hot and warm burner. He'll be charged for an error. Yarger to toss it in. Gonzalez can't keep it in. Throw in for the V-Hawks. Anderson, left foot, across the turf, return to center, comes right back to order. Kalsher, and the V-Hawks possess. Back to Kalsher toward the corner. That ball's going to scoot across the end line and throw in coming for the Grizzlies. Yes, sir, you got it, Mark. What is that, about 3 O's and 4 A's and a couple of L's? That explains the moment and the emotion right there pretty well for our listeners here on the Grizzly Digital Network. We appreciate all of our friends, family, and alumni tuned in here live on the Grizzly Digital Network for semifinal matchup number 1 of the A.I.I Championship as Georgia Gwinnett, the 1 seed, finds himself on top 1-0 over the 4 seed of Viterbo V-Hawks. If fans want to get on the conversation, use that hashtag A.I.I Soccer. A little bit more European-friendly start time, and all of a sudden we get an equalizer off the foot of Arazuris, and it goes over top of Sophie Hoare's head. An on goal for Georgia Gwinnett has tied this ballgame up at 1-1. Devastation for GGC after being up 1-0. An ugly monster that has reared its head for GGC, as Georgia Gwinnett has had a nightmarish month to start the season with 3 consecutive losses and had some really unfortunate mental mistakes for that back line dating all the way back to before the winning streak started at the end of August. And that is reminiscent of what happened for GGC many, many moons ago. Now we're all tied up at 1-1. 59th minute, Fletcher with a left foot, taken down after the shot. Nice deflection by the V-Hawks defense. Fletcher gets to her feet, but you can tell with the cooler temperatures that turf is getting a little slick out there. And you can see on some of those long balls, that first ball that hits the turf will tend to scoot a little bit more than what it normally does. So players are going to have to adjust to the conditions, both from a temperature standpoint, but from a condition standpoint too as well. As Georgia Gwinnett had tough losses against SCAD and Emory, literally with moments left in the game, defensive miscues cost the Grizzlies goals and games. And here today, that ugly monster has reared its head in the semifinals of this A.I.I tournament. An unfortunate strike by Arazuris peels back behind Sophie Hoare, who had no hope on that play. Ends up in the back of the net, and we're tied at 1-1. We've had 2 on goals today in this semifinal showdown. GGC men's soccer was the beneficiary of an on goal, as the Jimmies had a deflection off of a shin guard go into the back of the net, as Steve DeCou and company won 1-0. Here today, it's Mike Giuliano and GGC women's soccer that's on the bad end of an on goal. It's an equalizer in the 59th minute. So buckle in, folks. We've got another 30 minutes remaining here in this contest between Georgia Gwinnett and Viterbo. Kaylin Berry checks in the game for A.I.I Moreland. Gonzalez was swallowed up pretty well by the 2 center backs for the V-Hawks at the end of the first half, when she moved from that left forward position to that target forward position in the center. See if the Grizzlies make an adjustment. So a stunner here in Lawrenceville, tied at 1, an on goal and a defensive miscue. Has this game all locked up at 1, and everybody goes from a big exhale back to the edge of their seats. Got ourselves a battle here. Yarger, far side, shields off her attacker, and it'll be a goal kick for Sophie Hoare. Quick recap here through 1 hour of soccer. GGC has outshot VU 15-8. Grizzlies, 9 of those shots have found the frame. Well, the V-Hawks just 4. Fouls, 4-2 advantage of Georgia Gwinnett. No cards issued in the contest. 8 saves on the night for Brightback, 4 for Hoare. 8 corner kicks for Georgia Gwinnett, 0 for Viterbo. And we've got a 1-1 score here with 30 minutes remaining. Moreland working far side for Berry. Looking to cross. Can't find Gonzalez. We're going to say that more than once here in the second half, as long as Donna Gonzalez stays at that target forward position. Keenan comes in and wins a nice ball. Trying to get a shot off to the left. Can't do it. Ball bouncing across the turf. Bounce toward Keenan, and Keenan tried the one-timer there. Just got underneath it. Don't know if she had time to settle and shoot, but Keenan got a little bit north and had the opportunity to take a shot, and she did. Very young Viterbo squad with 5 seniors, 5 juniors, 9 sophomores, and 8 freshmen. They put a total of 5 underclassmen in this starting lineup. Far sideline, Yarger. Into Barry. Barry with time and space. Walking that far sideline, had it taken away. Deflection back toward Moss, and actually chased down and tracked down by Mathewitz. She'll try to take out the Grizzly bench, and a throw in for Yarger. Fletcher in the neighborhood here, couldn't pull the trigger. Ball comes back out, and the V-Hawks get a little breathing room. Kalsher with time and space. Grizzlies have numbers back. Play to the far side. Looking to cross to the back door. Anderson is there. Had a wide open black shirt and Summers that nobody accounted for. And now Moss will play long to Barry. Barry trying to track it down, but Fern's got the reach on her. Gonzalez is just going to be lost in between those 2 center backs. She's either going to get the ball at her feet, try to turn and face one of them, and take them on the dribble. Ball down toward Moreland beyond her reach, and a goal kick coming for GGC. Ball rallying around. Keenan first to get to it at midfield. On the turf, looking for Gonzalez, can't find her. Ball comes right back to where Keenan was, and Rodriguez is there. Rodriguez pressured from behind. And now a through ball intended for Barry, but Breitbach ready for it. Fletcher working down this right side. Looking for an opportunity, gets a deflection and a nice recovery by Laura Boyum. Will get a corner kick for GGC, their 9th of the ball game. Gonzalez sizes things up. Doesn't bring any teammates with her. So this will compact things a little bit around the 6. Gonzalez going that way and swinging toward the 6. Arazuris is in the neighborhood. It's over top of her head. Fletcher going to try to chase it down in a foot race with Fern. Fern will win that race, but knock out a play. Grizzlies will get their shape again with a throw-in. Ball rallying around here. Loose ball comes out to Keenan. Keenan chips one into the box looking for Gonzalez. Gonzalez back to the goal, trying to turn the corner. Can't get to her left. Now get a challenge on the dribble. One by Boyer. Rodriguez tries to chip it over top of the defense and unable to find it. Biggest match of the season for Georgia Gwinnett. They've got a resume that rightfully deserves that number 20 ranking in the coaches poll. But your whole season comes down to this, whether you're 5-8-3 in the 4 seed or you're 13-3-1 in a 1 seed. It all comes down to this. Whistle goes against Moreland. It'll be a free kick for the V-Hawks. There is no tomorrow if you don't win this one. Ernst sizes one up. Grizzlies hold the line north of the 18. Ball in toward Rodriguez off the side of her head, and Arazuris gets things out of danger. Comes right back toward the middle of the field. Azuris will get it and finds a foot of Moss. Moss picks her head up. Plays on the field to Barry. Barry's off and running. Grizzlies got numbers here. Barry cuts back toward the middle. Trying to tie things up here. Beats one on the dribble. Now gets rid of it. Finds Gonzalez and didn't have the angle. If that ball gets past the center back, and Mathewitz, that was Fern again retreating back. Gonzalez would have been on the goal with the ball at her foot. Azuris knocks that one out of play. And again, nice reaction out of Thomas Estock using the hashtag A.I.I soccer as that ball went in the back of the net. Estock went ecstatic for his V-Hawks. And fans, you can get on the conversation using that hashtag A.I.I soccer as well. Free kick. Lob down the far side. Mathewitz turns. Yarger now plays goal side. Takes it away from her. Off to Moss. Moss picks her head up. Lots of time and space. Dribbling forward. Third touch is a long one. Right into the center back and Rudd. Keenan wins that 50-50 ball. Now Gonzalez in a battle. Swing and a miss there. Second center back. Moreland now rattling things around. Grizzlies got to possess things just a little bit here. Try to get things on the turf. And I believe Fletcher's going to be flagged for an offsides call. I just can't believe it. About the 70th minute, we're tied at 1. Who is going to be the hero? Push your team from the semifinals of the championship. Gonzalez challenging in the midfield. As Gonzalez touches that one out of play. Now a nasty spill on the sideline there as those cleats absorbing a lot of the dew on the turf. And when you go from turf to concrete, it almost becomes like an ice sled. But jumping up, and okay is Kauscher. Now Gonzalez is shoved down from behind. And Fern, not happy with the call. Grizzly fans needed the call. They got the call. They got the call they wanted. Moss will size this one up. Seahawks hold the line at the 18. Left-footed strike. Into the box, looking for Fletcher. Anderson got a head on it. Barry chased it down, looks to help out. Grizzlies trying to keep possession and attacking third. Yager comes and helps out. Now here's a low line drive cross. Fumbled initially. Gonzalez puts a left foot on it. That's the first touch of hers in a positive direction in this second half. So make a note of that. It took 25 minutes of soccer for Gonzalez to get a positive touch. That means touching the ball toward the goal. She's possessed and kept possession, but it's all been retreating back toward the midfield. She's had a couple of chances to cross, but really been denied for the most part. She'll get a breather as she goes out as Amy Moreland checks in. So a chance for Gonzalez to get refocused. Tip your hat to both Fern and Rudd, who have done a phenomenal job at center backs, targeting and containing the A.I. Player of the Year. Barry gets the advantage call. Finds Keenan in the midfield. Keenan streaking forward. Time and space. All the way to the 18. Lets a right foot fly and it's deflected down. Keenan has been very active today for GGC, especially in the midfield and the offensive attacks from that right back position. Grizzlies will get their 10th corner kick of this ball game. Got to cash one of these in. Can they do it now? Tied at 1. 72nd minute. We'll go back to our normal play with now Countess and Rodriguez coming to the near corner. Moss hangs out all by herself at the elbow. And now we got a flag up, maybe some equipment issues. As the linesman is wanting a equipment check on Mathewitz. Now Mathewitz comes over and is going to have to be subbed out. So interesting here. That's not Mathewitz. I stand corrected there. That's actually Laura Boyum, freshman at Kasson, Minnesota. And they'll have to make a change in the sub. She may be bleeding is my guess. She runs over to the trainer. She seemed to be alert and fine. But for the time being, may have to get patched up. So that's what these linesmen saw on the near side. So Boydham going to get patched up. In the meantime, it'll be a new V-Hawk stepping on in her replacement. Couldn't find a number on her. More on her in a minute. Countess calling out the signals. Right foot, high arcer to the back post. Fletcher can't win the header. Nice job by Rudd. Barry chases it down, finds Yarger. Yarger, left foot, back into danger. Moreland with a simple touch. Now getting out of danger for the V-Hawks will be Kalsher. Ball chipped forward. Turned away by Arazuris. All rattling around. As we hear from Lisa Ann and Darian Doan on Twitter using the hashtag A.I.I Soccer, cheering on the Lady V-Hawks. And we've got fans from all over the world on both sides of the field here. Carrying on the green and gray and the black and red. Substitution now as Ana Gonzalez will check back in, the A.I.I Player of the Year for Dominique Fletcher. That'll move Caitlin Berry to the right side. Gonzalez out to the left, and Amy Moreland will remain in the middle. There she is right there. Anybody want to call her shot? Ana Gonzalez, our hero. 17 minutes remaining. She gets his first touch. Back to the goal. Turns, faces the middle. Moss tried to connect with Yarger, an overlapping run, can't do so. Yarger. Far side, down the line. Gonzalez. Left foot, behind Countess. Out of bounds. Going for the Grizzlies. Grizzlies tied 1-1 with the V-Hawks here in the 75th minute. Long toss by Countess looking for Moreland. Can't connect. Grizzlies have outshot the V-Hawks 19-8. They've got 10 more corner kicks than the V-Hawks. And they've really dominated possession here in the last 10 to 15 minutes. V-Hawks going to rotate around a little bit here. Checking in will be number 17. And a starter from the first half. There's going to be a sub from the first half. Maria Ehrlich. She'll come out to the left side here up top, and that'll move Kalsher to the attacking spot on the right side. That pass intended for Kalsher, but Yarger knocks it down. Who is going to be your hero in this contest? We've already seen one game in this tournament go to penalty kicks. It was the men's semifinals between Bellevue and Waldorf. The Warriors, the 3 seed, upset the 2 seed, if you can say that. 4-3 in pens. Cross in toward Moreland. Knocked away by Rudd. Comes back out to Rodriguez. Rodriguez, the right foot. Rodriguez to the left. Dribbles past one. Can't pull the trigger here. Gets it right back again. Right foot and a save by Breitbach. Breitbach gets her paws on that one. Picks up her 9th save of the night and keeps this game at 1-1. Corner kick for GGC far side. Rodriguez and Gonzalez go that way. Gonzalez left foot in toward Barry. Barry can't get over top of Rudd. Comes back out to Countess. Countess delivers a shot. It's over the bar. We get a whistle beforehand. It may be a foul against Caitlin Barry. Abby Breitbach has been the bright spot for the V-Hawks in this contest. Second team all-conference selection. Received the A.I.I Newcomer of the Year award along with 2 other participants in this tournament. Breitbach has shined the brightest here for the V-Hawks. Tough turnover here. Gonzalez gets it. Thumbs off to Moreland. Looking for the give and go. Can't connect. Rudd knocks it away. Again, Breitbach in her freshman season has 9 saves in this contest versus the 20th ranked Georgia Gwinnett Grizzlies. And that will be a season and career high for the freshman at Oregon, Wisconsin. Without a doubt, she is shine the brightest, but playing the best when it counts the most. Substitution as Moreland comes out for Barry. Barry's in that target forward position with Fletcher flanked out to the right. So I stand corrected there. Moreland goes out and Fletcher comes in. So Gonzalez to the left, Barry in the middle, Fletcher to the right. At the top of that formation. Or boots one around midfield. One by the V-Hawks. This one between Anderson and Keenan. Sophie Hoare late to come out here, but does and cleans up nicely. Throw in for the V-Hawks. 78th minute.
He's got a pair of gloves.
Keenan can't win on the turf. The sub and Ehrlich puts it toward the middle and Arizouris clears it out. Burns sends it right back to where it came from. Chance for Kauscher and the V-Hawks. There's a left-footed strike that's well wide. Kauscher might have used her hand to keep possession. Referees did not see it, so a goal kick coming for GGC. Sophie Hoare will size things up. Or Georgia Gwinnett. Hoare knocks it down. Anderson with a header. Arizouris with a foot. And again, got to recalibrate that right foot because it hasn't been dialed in this second half. Stays in play. Keenan quickly in. The other A.I.I newcomer of the year. Now we get a whistle and a sub that tried to come in for Mike Giuliano, and it will. Barry out, Moreland in. So that three-headed monster at the top of the formation. Gonzalez, Moreland, and Fletcher. In cooler conditions here in Lawrenceville. With 11.5 minutes remaining to the 90-minute mark. GGC has outshot VU 20-9 in this match. They've got 11-0 corner kick advantage. But the category that matters the most, 1-1 your scorer, as Abby Breitbach has 9 saves in this contest, a season and career high. GGC, ironically, has scored both goals in this contest. One in the right net, another in the wrong. Grizzly's trying to battle back here. Haven't been battle tested in a little bit more than a month. They get thrown into the fire here. And now Fletcher gets shoved from behind and gives the evil stare to Reisman. Right in front of the Grizzly bench, the Grizzly fans, and the Grizzly fans are calling for a card. This is a counseling moment here. Grizzly fans are not going to be happy. If the counseling session is concluded with a card, they'll be happy. They will not be. Reisman, freshman out of Burlington, Wisconsin, avoids the caution there. Free kick for Maddie Keenan and the Grizzlies. Looks like Moss will take it. Moss goes into the box looking for Fletcher. Over top of her head, Anderson's in the neighborhood, but it bounces twice on the turf and no Grizzly gets a boot on it. Breitbach toward midfield. Rodriguez is there initially. Turns it over on the second touch, battles back. Through ball down this left side. Kahneman and Elrich. Chased it down, keeps it in play. Pressured by Keenan. Gets past her, but Anderson's there to sweep things out. Fletcher comes crashing in, wins the ball. Second ball finds Keenan. Keenan on her feet. Delivers a ball up to Moreland. Moreland can't control. DeAmbrose back to the center back. Pooched over top. Anderson with a header. Inside 10 minutes remaining. Viterbo looking for one of the more epic wins of the season and potentially the career, and there's a chance there. The whole crowd knew it too. Number 9's got a target on her back, and Moreland couldn't find her. She would have been in space and on goal. Ball played out far side. Chance for the V-Hawks. That's Kauscher, stood up by Arizouris. Yarger's back to help out too. Nice takedown by Arizouris. All ball, and she'll turn and have possession for GGC. Picks her head up and delivers it to a black shirt. Not what you want there out of your center back. Keenan on the turf. Can't find Moss. Grizzlies are getting stuck in a kickball matchup right now. Possess the ball on the turf here. A.I.I. again kicks it to no one. V-Hawks kick it to no one. Rodriguez trying to control the chaos. Can't do so. Through ball, far side. Yarger, goal side of Kalshur. Grizzlies have not been in this situation in quite some time with the pressure on late in the contest. Substitution for Viterbo. Checking out is Urich, and checking in is Mathewitz. So you would potentially say that V-Hawks attack is back to full strength with 8 minutes remaining in this contest. Yarger knocks out out of bounds and the corner kick coming. Grizzly fans on the edge of their seats, holding their breaths and their tweets. V-Hawks, chance to pull the upset here. First corner kick of the night comes in the 83rd minute. Trying to get things organized. Right foot, low line drive in toward 11. They let it slip. They got to look at it. Deflected by Horn. The rebound's in. The rebound is in. The V-Hawks take their first corner kick of the night. They set up a set piece beautifully. Get a shot on goal from DeAmbrose. And a follow-up rebound by, I believe, their center back. And Rachel Rudd. I believe Rudd gets the goal for the V-Hawks, and they have stunned the top seed and 20th ranked Georgia Gwinnett Grizzlies here on their home turf. Pressure is on, and your season is on the line for Georgia Gwinnett now. Trying to reset the clock a little bit, and it'll restart at 9:36. Anderson. Faces north. Delivers the ball toward Moreland. That ball's blasted out of play, and you can tell that's going to be the Viterbo defensive method of operation from here on out. Giuliano's going to make a sub here. This is going to be defense for offense. They'll get Countess out of this contest, bring out a midfielder and bring in a forward. Look for Keenan and Yarger to really get north on the perimeter, and look for Barry to set up some of those forwards in the midfield. Fletcher to toss things in. Toward Moreland, back down toward Moss. Gonzalez is there, trying to connect with Keenan. Keenan now into the box. Out comes Breitbach. Big boot from Breitbach. Rebound comes out to Rodriguez, trying to control things. A little bit more than 6 minutes remaining. The V-Hawks got one eye on the scoreboard and the other eye on the ball. That clock is going to tick so slow for the V-Hawk fans. Grizzlies trying to possess things. It's all hands on deck moving forward offensively. Yarger, Arazuris, and Anderson seem to remain back defensively, sort of a gatekeeper in front of Sophie Hoare. Meanwhile, in the midfield, Barry comes out to the right side. Keenan goes back out to the left. Moss, Rodriguez in the midfield. And then you have Gonzalez, Moreland, and Fletcher up top. Keenan weaving her way through all the traffic. Loose ball comes back out to Gonzalez. Gonzalez with the cross. Fletcher is there. Fletcher can't finish, and it goes off the end line. And it'll be a goal kick for Viterbo. Grizzly fans not happy about that call. Good sequence there for Maddie Keenan. She has played her heart out tonight. So it looks like a almost a 3-5, maybe a 3-4-2 attack for GGC. Moss up to Gonzalez. Gonzalez, flag up, called for offside. Grizzly fans can't believe it. Ball goes out of play, flag still up. Now they're going to get the attention of the center ref. It'll be a change of possession in turn of Viterbo. Scott Prinstill in his 9th season of the direction of the V-Hawks is looking for the best win of the season at the most crucial time and potentially the best win in program history. Traveling all the way here to Lawrenceville, Georgia, and looking to upset the host and number 1 seed, Georgia Gwinnett College. Grizzlies quickly in. Can't team up. Viterbo is going to get the throw in and the sub. They're going to try to waste as much of this clock as possible. Clock will stop, 3:43 remaining. Checking in is Maria Elrich. Yarger will get things out of the back line. Anderson. Bouncer toward Fletcher. Fletcher pressuring. V-Hawks get things out of the back. They're in kickball mode for that back line for the V-Hawks. Yarger boots it forward. Gonzalez trying to settle, and she does. Wide to Keenan. Keenan with possession. Grizzlies got numbers in the box. Keenan's been good today. Back out to Moss. Moss not afraid to pull the trigger, and she does. This one will be well wide. But was it deflected? It was. Corner kick for GGC. 87th minute here, down 2-1. Biggest moment of the year for the Grizzlies. Gonzalez sticks one hand in the air, uses the left foot, strikes it toward Anderson. Anderson with a header. That ball is deflected at the end line. It'll go kept in play. Grizzlies thought it was going to be an easy corner kick. Can't relax here as Fletcher quickly calls for the throw-in. Fletcher tosses in, 2.5. Didn't really have a Grizzly in mind there. Another throw-in for Georgia Gwinnett. Fletcher gets it right back. Not a whole lot of movement off the ball. Fletcher launches one in again. Looking for Moreland, comes back toward the 18. Keenan lets it slip. Moss is there. Moss left foot, too wide. Substitution for Viterbo, and they'll stop the clock again at 2:16. And they'll get Taylor Summers back into the game. That target forward up top for Maria Elrich. Albright. Breitbach. Big boot from Kalsher. Yarger on the turf. Moss wide to Keenan. 2 minutes remaining. Up to Gonzalez. Gonzalez touches. Wide to Keenan again. Keenan trying to pull the trigger on the cross. Left foot. Skies one to the back toes. Fletcher's there. Fletcher with a header. It's close. Barry with a touch. Barry, it's in. Barry, it's in. Barry, it's in. Grizzlies have found the equalizer in the 88th minute, and we live on here in Lawrenceville. Great job by Maddie Keenan on the far side to work extremely hard for Georgia Gwinnett. Gets the cross. Fletcher absorbs the defense, and the rebound squirts back out to Kaylin Berry as the junior will finish with her 6th goal of the season, and it's tied things up at 2-2 in the 88th minute. The 89th minute. I stand corrected. That's not the 5th. That's the 9th goal of the season for Kaylin Berry. It couldn't come at a more opportune time. 98 seconds left in this contest. Grizzlies capturing the momentum here in front of the hometown crowd. Hoare with the right foot. Finally, the Grizzlies get some late game heroics of their own. Moreland not done. Gonzalez one-on-one to the far side. Over top of her head. That would have been glorious. Throw in for the V-Hawks. We have life here in Lawrenceville. what looked to be a bleak and heartbreaking end to the season. The Grizzlies reach down, they find a pulse, and Caitlin Berry comes up clutch. Inside a minute left. Ball cleared out. Nice job by Yarger. Right now, you just need a break. Ball heads toward the end line. Sophie Hoare will let this one melt away. You get a heroic moment by Caitlin Berry in this ball game. .26 seconds remaining. Tied 2-2. The Grizzlies have come back to life. Season was left for dead, and they have been resuscitated here at the A.I.I tournament. Down the line, not done yet. Countdown is on. That one's going to go off a black shirt. It's going to be a corner kick.
6, 5,
And do it with me, Grizzly fans. Into the nose, out to the mouth. Whew! Here we go to overtime. Viterbo capitalized on their first corner kick of the night to go up 2-1 in the 78th minute. And then a formation change by Mike Giuliano sent Maddie Keenan in the midfield on the left side. She had all sorts of time and space, been very good, very aggressive throughout the ball game. Found some real estate down that left side, crossed it to Fletcher. She drew two defenders. A deflection came out to Caitlin Berry, and she buried it in the back of the net for her 9th goal of the season. Tied it up at 2 apiece. We're going to step aside here for just a moment. We'll get regrouped and come back for overtime action here at the A.I.I tournament. This is the Grizzly Digital Network.
Will then go to a penalty kick shootout to determine a winner.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to the Grizzly Digital Network. We have had a very eventful second half. We were locked in at 0-0. Grizzlies got a goal early in the second half. An equalizer was an on goal at 1-1. And then the drama started. In the 78th minute, off their first corner kick of the entire game, they set up a beautiful set piece, deflected down by Sophie Hoare, and then the rebound goes in for Rachel Rudd. Then in what appeared to be your season on life support. Caitlin Berry in the 88th minute puts home the equalizer to make it 2-2. Mark, what'd you think? Happy dad. I like it, buddy. So here we are, 2-2, headed to overtime. Georgia Gwinnett, the 1 seed versus Viterbo, the 4 seed. But at this point, who cares? You are 1 golden goal away from punching your ticket to the A.I.I championship game tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Meanwhile, awaiting on deck will be semifinal matchup number 2 between Jamestown and Bellevue. The loser season will come to a screeching halt, and the winners will go head-to-head tomorrow for a title and a chance to go to the national tournament. So finally the Grizzlies get some late game heroics to go their way. They have been heartbroken more than once this year. And here when it mattered most, Georgia Gwinnett gets the equalizer in the 88th by Caitlin Berry. So here to start overtime number 1. 10-minute period. You put one in the back of the net, you're moving on. It appears as if Mike Giuliano will go back to the more traditional formation. We'll find out here in just a moment. Maddie Keenan streaking down that right side. She'll cross into the box looking for Moreland. Deflected away from her. Ana Gonzalez with a touch and she puts it over the bar. How about Ana Gonzalez for the close? The A.I.I Player of the Year gets just her 2nd shot in total in this ballgame. Viterbo has done their homework and it contained Ana Gonzalez in this contest. It indeed is the more traditional 4-3-3 attack for Mike Giuliano. Hang on to your hat, folks. Now what was a European-friendly start time has now become late into the midnight oil. Excuse me, late in the midnight hour. Burning the midnight oil, so to speak. Arazuris on the turf. Rodriguez. Yarger. Up top. Moreland taken down with an elbow. That is violent and that is bad. Moreland is hurt. Moreland took an elbow to the face. So she's shaking up on the play. As Dominique Fletcher checking on her. Moreland shaking up. I've not called for a trainer just yet. You know, if you get that medical assistance, you're going to have to be subbed off. So Moreland just needing an opportunity to get regrouped here, because she most certainly, in her senior season in the Gold Coast, Australia, does not want to come off. She gets to her, not even her feet, her hands and knees, and she's slow to get up. Moreland still shaking up there, just on the left side of your screen. Moreland, one of 5 seniors that almost had their season come to a close. Courtney Hicks, Dominique Fletcher, Amy Moreland, Bristol Countess, and Lexi Dietz had 2 minutes remaining on their year. And Caitlin Berry saves the day for Georgia Gwinnett in that senior class. And so Moreland, tough cookie there. She's going to stay on the pitch. Caught a high elbow from Rudd as play will resume. There's a knee by Summers. Moss relieves the pressure out to Yarger. Yarger delivers up to Moreland. Moreland with a touch toward Gonzalez, and they play back toward Breitbach. Keenan far side. Turbo. One again by Keenan. Moreland and Rodriguez run into each other. Moreland comes away from that collision limping as well. Moreland not 100% right now. I don't know if it's the ankle or the head or whatever the case may be, but she is not 100% right now. She's going to stick it out. Fletcher. Far side. Anderson. And now the ball rattling around. Overlapping run. Runs right into Yarger. Yarger. Moss trying to settle on the turf. Too long of a touch. Now the V-Hawks will possess things in the midfield. So if we haven't lost you yet, glad to have you aboard on the Grizzly Digital Network. That's an accidental shot to the face that Lauren Moss took. Nothing malicious there. Play will continue. Back and forth we go. Rodriguez wins the ball in the midfield. Picks her head up, assessing her options. Plays it through ball, looking for Fletcher. Gonzalez in the neighborhood too as well. Fletcher gets around the defender, but Breitbach again is Johnny on the spot for the V-Hawks. And so ball comes near side. Yarger will toss it in. Grizzlies want another whistle here. They're not going to get it. Azuris heads it toward Yarger. Countess in the neighborhood. This crowd ready to erupt. After a goal in the 88th minute by Caitlin Berry, ties things up. We're in golden goal opportunity halfway through the first overtime. That ball touched off the top of the head in the wrong direction. Fletcher's going to turn on the Jets. Can't she get a touch on it? She's cut off. Ball comes back to Moreland. Moreland trying to settle on the turf. Panically hits the right foot. And a one-hop toward Breitbach. And again, Kelsey Monroe on the Twitter machine using the hashtag A.I.I Soccer, rooting on her V-Hawks, ready for overtime. Countess out to Gonzalez, near side. Gonzalez, limited touches. Makes a couple of fancy moves there, but last touch a little bit too long. I think if you're George Gwinnett, you got to cognitively try to find number 9 here. Good things happen when the ball's at her feet. And I know she's playing down this left side, but you got to give some encouragement to Amanda Yarger. She's been a little aggressive with that ball coming to her, just knocking it long. You would love for Yarger to find Rodriguez or Moss in the middle and then hook up with Gonzalez down this near side. Ball played toward the center back. Anderson lets it go. No communication again, and Anderson frantically had to kick that one out of danger. It'll be a corner kick coming for the V-Hawks. This is just their second corner kick of the night. Grizzlies have 11 of their own. The V-Hawks scored what was the go-ahead goal and potential game winner in the 78th minute on their lone corner kick. They took their time to set up the play. They'll do it again here with Taylor Summers near side. Chips one toward the goalkeeper, and that never had a chance. It never came in play, so the Grizzlies dodge a bullet. Less than 4 minutes remaining in the first overtime. 4. With the right foot. Count this with a flick. Rodriguez with a settle, trying to find Keenan far side. Loose ball. Moreland comes back in the midfield and wins. Trying to find a teammate. Moreland, there we go. We find Gonzalez. Gonzalez cuts toward the middle. Wants to pull the trigger with the left foot. She fights to her left, cuts to her left. Dribbling into the box. Stands into her man. Beats her off the dribble. Gonzalez finds Moreland, and Moreland just misses wide. Great sequence. Good things happen when number 9 touches the ball. Great job there in the midfield for Nicole Rodriguez to team up with Gonzalez, who's matched up with Erica Schultz down this near side. Found Moreland, just missed off the post. Breitbach with a clearance. Gonzalez with a header. Moreland with a challenge. Moreland playing on fumes here. She's been banged up in overtime. Finds the ball at her feet, and again, just frantically kicks that ball. We'll let the Grizzlies to calm down just a little bit here and try to find feet. Fletcher crashes into the box here. Still battling for the ball. V-Hawks want a high kick. Not going to get it. All the way to the far corner. Man, as that ball touched out of bounds, it'll be a throw-in for Fletcher and the Grizzlies in the deepest part of the ballpark. 2.5 minutes remaining in overtime number 1. Into Moss. Moss inside the penalty spot. Trying to cut back to her left foot. Crosses it over to Moreland. Moreland with a right foot with a shot. Deflected down by Breitbach. Gonzalez is there. Deflected down. Countess swings and misses at a bike, and that's a great sequence for Georgia Gwinnett. Great save by Breitbach again. A season of career high now in double digits. Countess did everything she could. Wasn't trying to be fancy at all. She just knew you got to get a piece of that ball, and it might have went in. Loose ball comes back out. V-Hawks in transition. Grizzlies got number back. Formation is tight here. Out to Yarger, deflects it back. Anderson with time. We've been here before, and she does have it. 95 seconds remaining in this first overtime. Grizzlies had a chance there. Viterbo near side. And Razuris wins the header. Gonna lead things into the box. Anderson heads it out of danger. Moss in the neighborhood. Chasing it down is Mathewitz. Retreating back. Moreland gets a steal. Ball comes back toward Yarger. Yarger going to find friendly feet here. Does with Moss. Moss picks her head up. Moss sends it long looking for Fletcher. That one's headed down by Rudd. Anderson with 1 minute remaining. Out to Keenan. Keenan punches it up top. No one home. Rudd strikes it away. Long balls into the teeth of that 2 center backs is not a good idea. Fletcher finds a free ball. Rodriguez working to give and go. Right idea here. Fletcher comes crashing and gets the ball. 45 seconds left. Moreland's available at the 18. So is Gonzalez. Gonzalez gets it off to Moreland. It comes back out, and the two just couldn't get on the same page. I think Moreland wanted Gonzalez to take that shot, and Gonzalez thought Moreland had a better shot. Here's a great through ball. Arizona's trying to cut it off. 30 seconds remaining, and she does. Excitement at an all-time high here as we approach the half-hour mark in the 7 o'clock hour. V-Hawks working far side. I believe that's Rodriguez who's peeled back and helped out on defense, and she does. 10 seconds remaining. Fletcher, nice little nifty move. Ball poked out of bounds, and we're headed to OT number 2.
3, 2, 1.
It's the second time today we've had a contest push into extra, as it was game number 2 on the day. In the 2-3 matchup on the men's side, Bellevue and Waldorf went all the way to penalty kicks, and now we're almost halfway there, headed to overtime number 2 in the first game of the semifinal matchup between top-seeded Georgia Gwinnett and the 4th-seeded Viterbo. I'm going to step aside for just a moment. We'll be right back here in Lawrenceville with overtime number 2. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, here to the Grizzly Digital Network. As support coming in from all over the world here is Mia Khalifa on Twitter using the hashtag A.I.I Soccer, trying to encourage the Grizzlies into overtime number 2 here as Georgia Gwinnett is locked up with Viterbo. 2-2 heading into overtime number 2. Again, golden goal opportunity. You put one in the back of the net and you put yourself into that A.I.I championship game tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Somehow there's going to be a winner and a loser out of this contest, and your season just comes to a screeching halt in heartbreaking fashion. Who will it be? Ball into the far corner. Yarger stands up her attacker, and Mathewitz taken down by Yarger, and it'll be a throw-in for the V-Hawks. Grizzlies left to right in the second overtime. V-Hawks right to left. Much, much cooler conditions from what these teams warmed up in more than 2 hours ago. But right now, energy and emotion at all-time high here. No holding back, no regrets. Another throw-in coming for the V-Hawks. Grizzlies had their season on life support, and Caitlin Berry saved the day and the season in the 88th minute with the equalizer at 2-2. Grizzlies had a couple of good looks in overtime number 1, but it's all knotted up in the category that matters most. V-Hawks started and kept possession and just start this second overtime. Moss looking to play long, trying to find Gonzalez. I think that's the pep talk there by Mike Giuliano. Got to get the ball at the feet of Ana Gonzalez. Good things happen. In the direction of Gonzalez, but she was challenging an initial ball. Moss had it deflected. Gets a throw in for the Grizzlies. And you got to be creative. Getting Ana Gonzalez the ball 40, 50 yards from the goal isn't going to do you a whole bunch of good. She can certainly dribble past and outrun everybody. But this is where Gonzalez has to have positive impact in the final third. Keeping her dribble, touches it in. Moreland finds it at her feet. Moreland turns, looks, dumps it off to Berry. Berry's the hero, off to Moss. Moss lets a left foot fly. It deflects toward Breitbach, and luckily the sure-handed freshman picks up her 11th save of the night. It's his season and career best.
Go Grizzlies!
I'll tell you this much. If Breitbach is on the short end of this loss, she certainly didn't deserve it and has nothing to be shy away. And as well as she's played, win, lose, or draw, as you would hate for something like just the chance of a penalty kick decide her and her team's fate. But if you're the V-Hawks, you got to like your challenge, your chances, because Breitbach has played really well in this contest. I'll bring up more bad memories for GGC fans. If you remember, the Grizzlies were in this very same predicament a year ago in Denver, Colorado, as they went to penalty kicks against Rochester and lost 5-3. So not a good omen back-to-back seasons for GGC going to penalties. However, new season, new coach, new results. Grizzlies the 1 seed here in this conference tournament on a 14-match unbeaten streak, and have a lot of momentum after the equalizer by Caitlin Berry in the 88th minute. Can you capitalize on it? Yarger wanted to throw it in, but the 4th official has now told Yarger to back up and try again. You get a shove against the V-Hawks as Gonzalez will pick up the foul for the Grizzlies. Moss pushes everyone forward. I got 104th minute, I think, because I'm not able to take my shoes off. It's too cold to do the counting. Moss with a left foot into the box. Trapped down, comes back out to Moreland. Moreland with a left foot, not ideal. Had time and space, probably could have settled. Breitbach again in a bright jersey. Bright cleats and a bright gloves. Has been a bright spot for Viterbo. Rodriguez touching the wrong direction and trying to settle, and a handball will be Summers. Good call by the official. Halfway through overtime number 2. And this will most definitely push back the start of the second semifinal showdown on the women's side. Moreland intended for Gonzalez. Ball comes back in the midfield. Berry with a header. Back out to Fletcher. Fletcher with a little flick, trying to get around one defender, not the second. Comes back toward Keenan. Keenan, nice job, shields off her attacker, and it'll be a throw-in for the Grizzlies. Oh, no, excuse me. Well, the V-Hawks thought Keenan knew what she was doing there. I was on the same page as her. Chip over top. Keenan and Kalshur both got lost. Now they recover. Kalshur trying to pull across with the right foot. Denied by Anderson. Anderson, big boot forward. Moreland, chance to run. Not 100% for Moreland. You can tell there. Got to dig deep here. Oh, the senior to Gold Coast, Australia. She'll put some pressure on Breitbach, make her scoop it up. 106th minute. That ball hops a couple of times on the turf. Keenan's been great for GGC today. Rodriguez settles. Trying to find a friend in a white shirt. Finds Barry. Picks her head up. Now to Fletcher. Fletcher trying to turn the corner. Can't do so, but gets a throw-in. And a substitution coming for the Grizzlies is Bristol Countess will come in for Amy Moreland. This is nothing against Amy. She has put her heart and soul on the line today, but she is just not 100%. Banged up, bruised, and battered. Not able to help the Grizzlies. So looks like Caitlin Berry will push up into that center forward position as Countess comes to her natural position in midfield. So Fletcher still wide to the right, Gonzalez wide to the left. Keenan. Long ball intended for Gonzalez. Moss can come help out. She does. Makes an unfortunate second touch, and her third touch can't save it, throwing for the V-Hawks. What's not a bad idea is if you get that switch and the attacking third, think about it. If your back line goes with the long ball, the center backs are going to eat it up. But if the midfielders can go short, long, and maybe switch from like Rodriguez out to a one-on-one situation with Gonzalez into the final third, that is a great opportunity for Gonzalez to use her athletic ability in time and space. Gonzalez with that right here, going down that left side. Looking across, looking for Fletcher. Fletcher went in, ball went out, still alive. As Fletcher will keep possession. Keenan coming to support. Ball on the turf, comes back out to Rodriguez. Gonzalez calling for the ball in the back post. Fletcher tries to cut back to her right. Ball gets lost a little bit here. Rodriguez comes in, low line drive into her Breitbach, and she'll swallow it. That's the ball we're looking for Rodriguez. Not necessarily the shot, but the first time she got it, she played it quickly to Fletcher. If Rodriguez can deliver that ball wide out to Gonzalez, that is going to be a great look inside the 18 if she can settle and get something forward. We get a flag up and another Grizzly down. And Amanda Yarger slow to get up. They're going to stop the clock at 2:33. Yarger just needs a moment to catch her breath. So do I, for that matter. She seems to be okay. And Countess will call for a new ball. Yarger okay. Now Arizurus will tee things up on her own half. Clock will restart with the strike of the ball, 2:33. Right shot toward Fletcher. Fletcher with a flick. Settles, pops it straight up in the air. Got to get this ball on the turf. Fletcher sizes up a right foot. That one's going to be well wide. A bit optimistic for the senior. Breitbach, just a freshman, has played like a veteran here in this A.I.I championship. Ball in the midfield. Keenan wins it. Far side. Gonzalez looking for help. Finds Moss. Teaming up far side. Moss going down that left side. Gonzalez calling for it. She'll get it. Gonzalez draws the double team. Stops, turns, cuts back to her right. Now cuts back to her left. A chance to cross. Gonzalez into the penalty area. Gonzalez all the way to the end line. Back across the 6. Denied. Comes back out to Gonzalez. Gonzalez sticks with the left foot. Lets one fly, and it just escapes across the face of the goal. Love the attitude behind Gonzalez. I don't think she was intending to cross that ball. I think she was trying to finish it. And the right idea, when the ball's at Gonzalez's feet, good things happen. 90 seconds remaining. Ball into Keenan. Keenan with a great interception toward Barry. Barry in the neighborhood. Barry challenging. Comes back out to Keenan. Keenan with a panic left foot. Got to keep this possession here. Comes back out to Yarger. Yarger inside. We are 60 seconds away from penalty kicks. Ball comes all the way back to Sophie Horse. She can use her hands, and she does. She'll put a charge into this one. Hops at the 50-second mark. Keenan, right foot. headed toward Fletcher. That's going to be out of bounds. Substitution for Viterbo. This will stop the clock at 38 seconds, or at least it should. Actually, clock's running here. 30 seconds and counting. Keenan traps it down. 24 seconds remaining. It's back to her right foot. Might have been shoved down. Fans want to whistle. They're not going to get it. Countess comes over and helps out. 18 seconds remaining. And for the second time today, looks like dreaded penalty kicks are on our horizon. Clock will count away, and we'll get prepared for pens.
5, 4.
It's a nightmare that's reared its head for Georgia Gwinnett. Our season ended in this exact same game a year ago in penalty kicks. We came up short against Rochester. Now here we are, new season, a new coach. Can we get a new result? Keenan cramping up there as Dr. Fletcher will come in and help out as Shira Williams will quick on the scene. And so both coaches are going to get a chance to regroup, pick their best 5 penalty kick takers, and select who is going to decide their season's destiny.
A penalty kick shootout.
And so an up and down emotional roller coaster here in the first semifinal matchup on the women's side. Finds us even at 2 goals apiece. All 4 goals scored in the second half.
Yeah.
Grizzlies had a great opportunity in overtime number 1 with Ana Gonzalez, but just could not get enough of their 32 shots on frame or in the back of the net. And so, folks, fingers crossed here as we go into penalty kicks. It's a nerve-wracking moment for both these teams. For the seniors, they most certainly have not forgot Denver, Colorado a year ago. A chance, not necessarily to avenge that loss, but this season that has just been tremendous for Georgia Gwinnett. A 14-game unbeaten streak, an 11-game winning streak. Comes to a head here at the A.I.I tournament. Tip your hat to Viterbo. They have played extremely well in this contest. They had a game plan. They have executed. They finished their opportunities when they got the chance. And they find themselves in penalty kicks with the 20th ranked team in the country. Ron Jeremy, what do you think? He's ready for penalties. Fans, at this point, you can use the hashtag A.I.I Soccer. We want to hear from you for sure, but we're going to focus in on these penalty kicks. We can't thank you all enough for playing along with us all evening long, chiming in on Twitter using the hashtag A.I.I Soccer. Again, I'm Matt Mahoney, the voice of the Grizzlies, bringing you semifinal action number 1 of this A.I.I championship. And it's all going to come down to penalties here. And a spot open in the championship game tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Whoever comes up on the short end of this stick is going to have a tough offseason to deal with. And so it looks like the goals will take place on the south end zone, closest to the Grizzlies Athletics Complex. It'll be Sophie Hoare in goal for Georgia Gwinnett, a sophomore in Napier, New Zealand, in the blue jersey. And the bright yellow shirt will be Abby Breitbach, the freshman at Oregon, Wisconsin, manning the net for the V-Hawks. You can choose any 5 penalty kick takers on your roster. They do not necessarily have to finish the game on the field. So it looks like Georgia Gwinnett will be going first. And it'll be Bristol Countess stepping to the center circle. Countess will make the long stroll from midfield all the way to the penalty area. Countess, a senior at Harvest, Alabama. With mom and dad in the stands, by the way, not on Twitter. Everybody is going to come down to the south end of the field to take this in. Countess versus Breitbach. First kick. Countess finishes. Good start for Georgia Gwinnett. 1 kick, 1 goal. So now, Sophie Hoare will man the post for GGC. And for Viterbo will be number 20, Anya Von Klopp, a freshman out of Sun Prairie, Wisconsin. She has not played in this contest. This is the first time she's touched the ball, and she misses high. They put a freshman in a game who hasn't played all night long, and she puts her first touch over the bar. GGC on top 1-0 after 1 kick. Second kick on the way. It's Nicole Rodriguez, one of the 15 juniors who are part of this massive class for Mike Giuliano. Nicole Rodriguez out of Atlanta, Georgia, a year ago, an NAI honorable mention All-American. This year, her efforts find herself on the second team A.I.I selection. One-step shot, finishes! 2-0 lead for Georgia Gwinnett. Big pressure moment right here for the V-Hawks. Down 2-0 in penalty kicks. This will be their second kick taker, who must put one in, or their season will look quite bleak. I believe that's number 18 on the center back, and Isabella Fern. Right foot. Finishes. Buries that one in the upper 90. No goalkeeper on the planet is going to save that. And I believe that was actually number 12 and Lexi Reisman. No, I stand corrected. That was 18. Isabella Fern. Fern finishes, makes it 2-1. And now the senior to Gold Coast, Australia. And Amy Morelands, who's been banged up in this contest, subbed out with about 6 minutes remaining in the second overtime, will step to the penalty spot. Amy Moreland with Janet Moreland in the stands, and Luke and Dad watching at home. Amy finishes. Breitbach guessed wrong. Moreland with the placement versus the power puts GGC on top 3-1. And with every make for GGC, shooting first in these penalties, it puts even more pressure on Viterbo. So stepping to the penalty spot will be number 1 in Nicole D'Ambrose. D'Ambrose sizing up Sophie Hoare. Right foot finishes. So with GGC up 3-2 on penalty kick, this is their 4th kick taker in the A.I.I Play of the Year, and Ana Gonzalez. Gonzalez, a junior. Left foot finishes. Huge fist pump for Ana Gonzalez, who's been fantastic in this contest in limited action. She's played more than 100 minutes in this ball game, but Viterbo did a great job at containing the best player in the conference, limiting her touches. Now it comes down to this. Do or die for Viterbo. A miss here gives the glory to the Grizzlies. A make gives GGC an opportunity with the 5th kick taker. This is number 11. Season on the line. Kristen Mathowitz, senior at Elva, Wisconsin. Mathowitz. Oh, saved by Sophie! Saved by Sophie! The glory goes to the Grizzlies! A huge win for Georgia Gwinnett and Mike Giuliano, as Georgia Gwinnett, after being eliminated on penalty kicks in the semifinals a year ago in Denver, Colorado, a new coach with a new outcome in a new season. Georgia Gwinnett moves on to tomorrow's championship game at 7 o'clock. Huge emotional moment for that group right there. And the celebration is on here in Lawrenceville. It'll be short-lived as fans and fellow student athletes storm the field. And just a tough way to go for Viterbo. A 5-8-3 record does not serve that team justice how well they have played here tonight. Neither being the 4th seed in this tournament either. And so a great win and a great save for Sophie Hoare as GGC will win in penalty kicks by a score of 4-2. So a great job by Georgia Gwinnett. As we update our bracket, and Georgia Gwinnett will be moving on to that championship game tomorrow at 7 p.m. Caitlin Berry comes up huge in the 88th minute, down a goal. She gets the equalizer to extend the season. GGC had a couple of opportunities in overtime, but capitalized in penalty kicks. And they'll be moving on. So now we update the bracket for you here. Georgia Gwinnett will be ready for that championship showdown. 7 p.m. tomorrow night. The question will be, who will they take on, the Jamestown Jimmies or the Bellevue Bruins? That game's set to take place here in about 30 minutes or so. So if you're tuned in early for that second semifinal showdown, give us a little bit of time here and tune back in. We'll say roughly about, let's call it 8:15. Give us a minute to get regrouped. 8:15, we'll have something back up for you here. And not 100% sure when that start time will happen. When we get official word, we'll try to pass that along to you as well. Fans, as always, stay tuned to AIsports.com for the latest information. For Grizzly fans, you know the drill. Head on over to GrizzlyAthletics.com. Again, our next contest will be semifinal matchup number 2 between Bellevue and Waldorf. No, excuse me, between Bellevue and Jamestown. As again, the glory goes to the Grizzlies in penalty kicks. Our final score of 4-2. So that'll do it for our entire cast and crew from Lawrenceville, Georgia. I'm Matt Mahoney saying so long, everybody. This is the Grizzly Digital Network.